Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Self-Care. And we always say that it's about securing lives and improving well-being. And today we are so blessed, very blessed to have Angela with us. It's exactly 3:36 p.m. in Ghana. Hi, Angie. What time is it in the US?
Good morning. Good morning. My time is 10:36 here in the US. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking time off your busy schedule to join us. I think this subject is so important. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Angela Amoatey, and as you know, I'm an Akora, so why not? That's why I'm working with you this morning.
Yeah.
I live in my family. I'm a school counselor currently. I do other things, but the school counselor is more of fitting for this, what we're talking about right now. And I'm into self-care, actually. I can say that the bulb opened up, the light bulb for self-care opened up for me 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, starting 2018 December, when I started realizing that self-care has different components. And most of us, especially parents, especially mothers, focus on certain parts of self-care and ignore other parts of self-care. So I launched myself into a serious research into that, and I started studying it in the different aspects. I'm not an expert yet. I'm still work in progress, but I'm passionate about it, and I try my best to do the best for self-care for myself, and for family, and for children.
Right. Angie, you're a school counselor, and so I'm very excited to have you this afternoon. And I know that there are so many parents out there with so many questions on self-care, and especially in this new year, I think it would help a lot to understand what self-care is and how we can care for ourselves and care for our children, our husbands, and our families as well. So I'm very excited to have you for this presentation. And I know you have a lot of experiential knowledge and skill sets to help us, and want to say thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just want to say that the components of the self-care is a lot and cannot be covered in 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Actually, that's seminar. I've done it twice, and it's still not covered completely. So we're going to take it in bits. Today can be a general aspect of self-care, introducing family self-care, individual self-care, children's self-care. And then we can do another one and focus on the different aspects of self-care as you see fit. But to launch and to start, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Yvonne, for bringing me here this morning. I just want to say that in this day that telehealth is becoming very common, it makes me realize that we have to take our self-care to another level, where machines are diagnosing you and telling you what exactly is going on with your body, and not a human being who can see the emotional aspect of you, but it's becoming just you and a machine. I believe that this is the time that all of us have to take our self-care very seriously in the different aspects, all right? And before I tell you what self-care is, there are different domains of self-care. I've narrowed mine down into physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, relational, and professional self-care. All right, so that's the components that I talk about. So self-care is the individual practice of health management without the aid of a medical profession. And that is why I brought about the telehealth. You don't need the aid of a medical profession to take care of yourself. I believe that most of us have given that job to doctors. But if you are one person, all right, and the doctor has 100 patients, I don't know how you think that the doctor has you in their mind 24 hours. That is not possible. And also that is a job for the doctor. When it comes to your body and your social, emotional being and everything that surrounds your life, You are in charge of that. You know how your body feels. You know what is going on inside. You know what is going on around you. All right. So the practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's health has to become your job as an individual person. You know, taking an active role in protecting your well-being, your happiness, during periods of stress, during periods out of stress, you know, worrying about today and however planning for tomorrow is one of the reasons why I tell people that self-care is extremely important. All right. So that is one of the main reasons why I tell people that let's take self-care to another level. Let's take care of ourselves, and not just us, you know, especially mothers and women. We take care of everybody else but us, right? And as we're taking care of us, we have to take care of our family along. We have to teach children starting very young about self-care. That is one of the practices that I do in my school, is that I'm teaching the kids how to manage emotions, how to let the physical environment work for them. You know, no matter where you're put, you know, you just have to make it work. And teaching people how to be able to take care of themselves is the first thing. However, people also have to be interested in being better and understanding that their care is crucial, and should have to dive more into reading about it, learning more about it, reading articles, doing research about your personal lifestyle. And because you're the only one who understands and knows what your lifestyle should look like.
Right.
All right. So physical self-care is a lot. So that talk about physical self-care, that is one of the things that has different aspects of it, you know. And in terms of physical aspect, self-care, I think that a lot of people think that physical aspects is just, you know, taking certain things and making yourself feel good, like pampering, right? So people, when we talk about physical self-care, people think that getting a massage is great, right? Which is great. It's part of physical self-care. However, physical self-care involves different aspects of it. And I'm going to get into that. Just give me a quick second. Okay. So physical self-care talks about nutrition, eating nutritious meals. So the first thing I tell people is that, do you know your blood type, right? That's the first thing I always ask people. If you don't know your blood type, that's the first mistake, because then you're not eating foods for your blood type. One of the best things is to know nutrition. However, knowing nutrition is understanding who you are and what type of food works for you, right? So I'm a blood type O. I buy most of my food surrounding that blood type. My children are O. My family is mostly all O, right? So I buy everything surrounding that type. We can eat out of other food, but what types of meals are nutritious to your body? What type of meals are giving your body what you need to survive and function wholly as a person? So that's when it comes to meals. And also, I always tell people that, I mean, you know, I've told you already, I've been on a plant-based diet. I consider myself right now a flexitarian. So because when I was in Ghana, I indulged in meat and fish, only because I don't eat meat and fish and those things here, because if you're not, then you're not eating the natural food, right? They're not giving the animal, if they're giving the animal antibiotics, and that's what you're putting in your body. But the animal is supposed to graze on grass, that whatever is in the grass, all the science and chemistry, it all works together to give your body the nutrients. And that's why I've been on a plant-based diet. And in order to say that, I'm not just trying to, but if you have any diseases, diabetes, any diseases that you live with on a daily basis, one of the first things to is diet, then you can go back to a regular diet that you want to take, all right? But plant-based diet is good. What I also want people to focus on is your plate always has to be colorful. Processed food, no, all right? As a grown adult, you shouldn't be eating sugar, all right? And it's raw processed. Sugar is an addiction. It's just a drug. People say, I don't eat, but you eat chips, you eat snacks, you eat a lot of cookies. You have to start to provide fruits at home, all right? It's what you have. What you have is what you eat, right? So I make sure that I have less processed food at home. There's a lot of fruits and vegetables. When you are hungry, to the point that you're very hungry, you're going to end up eating the fruits. So you have to teach your body and your taste to fall in love with natural food, and you will not crave the snacks anymore. You know, the body is amazing, Dr. Yvonne. You can actually change the body. That's why they say diseases are reversible, right? You can get a diagnosis, but the prognosis is in your hands. You don't let the doctors take care of the prognosis. You take care of it. So I always say that when it comes to eating and meals, people have to do research. Are you doing vitamins? And what type of vitamins are you doing? You know, you don't just take vitamins because everybody's taking vitamins.
Right.
I do blood work every 6 months to a year, and I know what I need based on that. You might need more vitamin D right now, right? And if you're taking vitamin D, you have to add K12. Do you understand vitamins? Do you understand natural herbs that your body needs? Like the things that, you know, what we use, lemongrass, dandelion, all these things. Do you understand how your body needs it? Do you know when you're supposed to eat fruits and vegetables? Do you know when you're supposed to eat starch? Do you know when your body digests different things? You have to be so interested in your physical self-care. I always tell people the physical self-care starts with eating. It starts with your food. So what I tell people is that dive into food, read labels, read food labels. If there's anything on the label you can't understand, you don't eat that food.
Right.
So what am I saying? The best type of food is a raw food. Buy raw foods, you know. I know that in the US, there are certain areas that has food apartheid, you know. Fruits and vegetables are not easily found. You can find more fast food, more Burger King joints.
Right.
However, you have to take your life into your hands when you go to the grocery store. And I don't want to give it up, but I'm working on a project called your shopping cart. What does your shopping cart look like? Right. Your shopping cart is who you are. What you put in your shopping cart is what you're eating. Yeah. So just remember that you're going to get the results of that. All right. So the food, I'm going to jump over the food care because I think I've stayed on the food for a minute.
And just to chip in this quickly, I think that I support that idea of what you have around is what you eat. And we talk about this in relation to eating habits and all that, and also the addiction, some of the addictive behaviors we form around food.
Yes, exactly. That's serious.
Trend around food where we try to encourage people to kind of dissociate from foods that are not healthy. And sometimes it takes a lot of work and consciousness even to begin to prime yourself into safety foods, and also to get yourself to that level where you are very selective about what you put in your mouth. And I'm happy when you mentioned that you always say that physical care also starts with what you put in your mouth. I had to represent myself. I found myself standing at the tail end of the table and calibrating what would be suitable for me before I have to get to the main meal. And that kind of self-care, conscious self-care, that allows you to be very critical about what you eat, so that you don't have to take the decisions. If you know that you are very impulsive around food like me, then you are very careful about what you pick, especially when you're exposed to situations of different food types, and you have to be very selective about what goes on your plate. So yeah, I support that point a lot, and I agree with it. I think in Ghana, there are also a lot of fast food, especially in Accra. There are a lot more fast food, and there are a lot of changing patterns around food behavior.
That breaks me. I have to tell you, I have to stop you and I have to tell you, my heart was broken when I came to Ghana. I couldn't wait to come to Ghana to come and indulge in some fresh fruits and some fresh vegetables. And all the people around me couldn't wait to just eat processed food.
Yeah, please.
And it's so sad that we're coming to, Ghana is in the place now that you're eating like foreigners, right? But there's no healthcare that backs it like the foreign country does. I have to tell you that a lot of people have diabetes, including children. Okay, children shoot insulin.
So the lifestyle diseases are on the rise. I mean,
it's what bothers me that it's on the rise in Ghana,
on the rise.
But the healthcare is not compatible. And let's say even in America and these developed countries, I don't see the fact. I don't know how you're living when you're on all type of medications just so you can eat what you want to eat. You know, not because you can change your eating habit. To me, it's not living. You know, Dr. Otubea, since I started being conscious about food, I can go to a party and not indulge in anything. Because you know what? Like I tell my children, eating is like, I eat like a queen. I eat nutritious, healthy meat. When I sit down to eat, I have to enjoy my food. My food, I have to have my juice that is freshly made, my salad or my vegetables, my main course, and my dessert. I eat all of that. I indulge, I indulge. It's a beautiful thing. But when I'm giving my food, my body food, I treat my body. You know how women buy like pocketbooks? That's how I believe that we have to change our thinking. My shift in thinking was that if I feel good inside and I look physically good, what I hold, what I put on, it will just work.
I think it takes a lot of
what you put on.
Right. And I think it takes a lot of self-discipline, especially with the physical self-care, a lot of discipline.
And in Ghana, where I have to say there's a lot of food and there's great food, okay? I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. There's yummy, delicious, but you still have to be very careful. You still have to choose. I say that if you're past 30 years old and your plate is not a decision where your eating habit is not it's not a decision, or you don't understand. If you just wake up and you indulge because you see somebody eating both fruits, so you eat both fruit, your food is part of your care. Your food, just like you budget for money, you budget for your food. Thank you. So eating nutritious meals, I have to tell you, when it comes to food, I'm working with a restaurant right now to start a community-based thinking about how we eat. It bothers me about how we eat, I have to tell you. We do have the food. And if you're in Ghana, you don't have any excuse because you can have the herbs, you can have the vitamins, you have the sun, you have everything, you have nature, you have everything that you can use. What I want to tell people is that you don't need the medication. Your food is medicine. If you don't eat to live, you live to eat.
But even in Ghana, I mean, there are issues on food that are imported and chemicals. I mean, food with a lot of chemicals and all that. So even though we have the herbs and all that, there are challenges there. And we are just saying that people should be selective about what they put on the plate.
That's true. It's selectiveness and also education. You're not going to just put something in your mouth when you don't know what it is. If you actually put something in your body without having enough education about it, you don't care about what the components of your body inside, right? So I buy Whole Foods. It's not because people say it's more expensive. If you compare it, it is a little more expensive, but guess what? Like you're saying, foreign imported foods, where are they coming from? What type of pesticides are they using, right? The meat, even in Ghana, I realized that some of the chicken, they're not raised in Ghana. They're imported into Ghana. How are they raising it? So even in Ghana, you have to be selective with your food. Wherever you find yourself in the world, all I'm saying is that read labels, know about your food, right? Know about what you put inside your mouth.
We live in an era of so much education. Everyone has a phone. Everyone knows about Google and all the tools for information. And so we expect that as much as possible, parents are informed. I do a bit on breast care and chronic diseases and all that. And sometimes it's a pattern of some of these salient issues reoccurring over and over and over again. It's about eating patterns, it's about stress levels, it's about addictive behaviors, some of the conditioned behaviors around that, which results in all these chronic diseases and mental health illnesses as well. Because even now, my advocacy has moved to, ensuring that you understand how eating affects your mental health. So we've talked about the medications for mental health and all that, but you must also understand that there are significant levels of vitamins that you need that regulate your mental health. And so even if it's all about sugary food or the junk food and all that, then you must also understand that they have rippling effects on your mental health,
Right. And also when you look pyramid, right? I always tell people that some people can get into just eating so healthy, which is great. Right. When I say so healthy, I think I need to rephrase that. Some people, but your body does not just function on fruits and vegetables. Like you said, there are different aspect components. Your body needs some metals, your body needs magnesium, it needs iron, it needs things, that it's in the science world, but it just takes so much. But like you said, specifically mental health, even in children, the food, kids snacks, right? They're bouncing all the time. I don't buy juice in my house. There's no reason to have juice in your house. If you don't make it yourself, why buy the extra sugar?
So I'll share this interesting observation with you. So
I mean, because of that, you know what I mean, and all these different processed foods, and they're putting all types of things in it that you don't even understand the label, and your child might be allergic to that, or it might give them another reaction. Okay, so when it comes to self-care, family food, are you teaching your children how to eat color? Do their plates look colorful? When they go to parties, what are the options they pick? Is a whole lot of buffet. What do you go to? It's interesting that when I stand back and I look at people around food, I just know who understands that. And you don't even have to be a nutrition, but I just know people who understand their bodies. As opposed to people who don't understand their bodies.
Angie, so let me share this quickly with you, child. And this child was all over, won't sit still. I was just observing from where I sat. And I mean, the child was in distress, kind of. He looked irritable, running all over. And it was later on I found that they had given the dad had given the child a bottle of one of these sugary drinks. And they went closer. And I said, look, I just want to throw in one or two, pieces of advice. Could you kindly watch what you feed this child? And this was around 10 a.m., and I told them, if you feed the child this level of sugar, it was a sugary drink, this level of sugary drink at this time of the morning, and this was about 500 ml bottle of a sugary drink, then you are actually provoking the child into irritability, attention, ill attentive behaviors, and very disruptive behaviors, and all that. And it becomes difficult when you can't tell if it's the diet that is causing the disruptive behaviors or the child has a problem.
Absolutely.
So I think the issue of food is very important, even for parents, to understand that it affects your child's mental health. And for your own understanding, there's a need to educate and re-educate yourself about it. And you start from the basics. If you can't educate them now on what to take and what not to take, and you want to do that when they are 10 years old, it will be a whole struggle. They'll fight with you.
Yes.
They'll fight
and the education part also includes accessibility. So what do they have? You're educating them, but it's more of what you're doing, right? So I eat fruits and snacks. Like I'll eat carrots and a dip, so that's what is at home. And I make it so that you make it so nice and colorful. When you're eating it, they want to taste it. That's how I always introduce things. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad after all. Oh, I like it.
It's called modeling. It's called modeling.
Exactly.
parents should model out appropriate behaviors. If you don't do it, then it will be difficult for the child to imitate. And once you tell the child to pick it up, then it looks very alien because it's not something that you are even part of. You know, they see it as very alien and they see it very instructive. And once they find it that way, they are going to fight you on it.
Right. Yeah. Children practice what they see and not what.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have kids, you know by now.
Right.
You know.
Thank you for sharing that.
All right. So I'm going to go through. So what I think we can get self-care. The next thing is exercising. All right. Or physical activity. I just want to call it physical activity because we're in different aspects of our lives. If someone is going through certain treatment or they are at a certain age or they are sick, there are certain things that they can do physically and there are certain things that they cannot do. So I always say that the first thing is to take a stock of your life, right? As you know, I was a swimmer from Ghana. So I love to swim. However, I can't swim all the time, right? I love nature. I like to walk in nature. I like to touch, you know, it's amazing how us growing, I like to touch sand and grass. And, you know, there's something called earthing where they say that we have to go back into nature. You have to walk barefooted. You have to touch things. It's almost, you know how kids behave in Ghana when they're kids, or kids behave when they have in tropics, when they have nature to play with, you know. And those are some of the things that we have to get back to the basics, getting back outside more, you know. That's starting because we need vitamin D. I was shocked that when I came back from Ghana and I did my blood work, I still was missing vitamin D. Yeah. And I said I wasn't getting a lot. However,
I mean, we take the sun for granted here. We think that it's just too much of scorching sun and all that. But it's interesting that just that vitamin has rippling effects on our health.
Extremely rippling effects. Vitamin D and K12. I mean, D and K12 goes together. And if you're lacking that vitamin in your body, it does so much. Like, I can't even explain it scientifically because it takes more of somebody who has the right words to explain it. But just know that your body is lacking something. And I was shocked that I didn't have enough of sunlight. So I realized that it's not just living in the tropics, it's how much of the sun are you getting? Exactly. What time of the day are you getting the sun? All right. So this is something that people have to look into more and work on.
Right. And I just want to add that even when we say that physical exercises, then we also talk about the basics because now parents are busy, you know. So walking around our home, what are the fun exercises you can have with your kids?
Dancing, you know,
dancing. Yeah. I mean, now we talk about dance therapy and all that.
Outside, shooting it with your kids, you know, hopscotch. You know, there's so much things, but one of the things that I like to talk about things that worked for me. One of the biggest things when the pandemic hit, because I'm a gym lover, right? And I couldn't go to the gym, was a lot of walking. So I started by walking, and I got into jogging, and I got into running. You have no idea what that does for you. That is something about being outside in nature and taking it all in. It's almost like a moment where your brains just open up and ideas just begins to flow through you. It's like that is where your most imaginative, creative self is released. Okay. So that's one of it. I always tell people outside. Number 2 for me was stretching. Stretching is powerful. Stretching is powerful. Stretching can be done in your house. You don't have to go anywhere. You get on the floor and you allow your body to stretch. You do it slowly. Right? When you start, certain parts of your body might not be able to move. But when you slowly do it, you'll be shocked that I could do splits now. I can hold my hands down, lift my leg up. I couldn't even do anything like that when I started. The body has the ability to be malleable and you can do a lot to the body. You know, that's why athletes, it's called practice make perfect. That's why athletes work on their self-endurance, their tenacity. It's all part of it. It really is all part of it. So I just want to tell people that don't just focus on, oh, I can't work out. There's nothing I can do. There's something you could do. Something you could do. All right. And I want to go straight into and physical exercising. You can walk, you can swim, you can garden, you can dance, you can run, you can You can do Pilates. You can
can
watch a video.
smile, Angie. Angie, you can smile.
I agree.
Smile.
I agree. But you know about
because I think we have to.
Where smiling and doing things with your face helps with.
Even in relaxation therapy, you try to help people or yourself relax the muscles around whichever part of your body you'd want some soothing, you know. And I always say that when we think about stretching and exercise, it's always about the rigorous. It doesn't have to be that rigorous.
Honestly, it doesn't. It doesn't. If you like doing things like crocheting, right? As long as your body's in physical, you're doing something physical. And, you know, the thing is that, I mean, I always tell people, know thyself, right? You have your goals. So if you're a small person and you're not looking at weight loss goals, right?
Right.
You have options. But if you're looking at weight loss goals as part of your physical health, you can also just do certain minute stuff because you won't see the results that you want. So it's all about knowing yourself. However, like you said, you can start from anywhere and everywhere. You can smile more, smile a lot more. To me, I have to tell you, and when it comes to physical self-care, one of it might be physical or emotional. I love comedy. At the end of the day, I have to watch something that will make me laugh, and I have to feel my lungs all out. And like when I'm done, I just have to feel this, it's this wonderful, extreme feeling of tiredness inside. But it's
we call it catharsis, and it's also a means. Catharsis is also a means of unleashing all pent-up emotions and negative feelings and helping you declutter all the thoughts and, you know, intruding negative feelings and thoughts and emotions and all that. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So like you said, sorry.
Can we talk about sleep?
Yes, I'm gonna do a little bit about sleep. So I struggle with this. I do sleep, but I don't sleep as much. But telling people that sleep is very important, you know, especially when you're young, parents think they can take that for granted. I say teenage age, right? Teenage age to maybe early 20s, that's when you can play with your sleep a bit. But when you're a child and your brains are still developing and there are a lot of still things going on in your body, you have to make sure and ensure that your children have at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Why is that important? Because when you sleep, your body resets, right? Your body is able to even your memory. That's when your memory resets. Everything is happening during sleep. You can't just keep going and not shut down.
The
body's going to tell you.
I will advocate for sleep for all the specific, you know, milestone development phase. So whether you're a child, you are an adolescent, you're a young adult, just ensure that you're having enough sleep, you know. And these days, there's so much addiction on the phone and there's so much disruptions. And we talk about sleep hygiene, even ensuring that environment where you keep up with sleep is safe enough to allow your mind that rest, you know. So we move beyond the physical, just
there are things that you do for you. There are certain routines that you have to practice. You have to be off your phone for a good 30 minutes, 1 hour before you sleep, right? You have to drink a little bit of water before you sleep. You have to give your body time to reflect. You have to sit in a mood where you're breathing in a certain way, your posture. You see, so sleep is not just going and falling asleep. Right? It's everything that's
into the sleep hygiene.
It all sleeps in it. What temperature are you sleeping in? Right? What sheets are you sleeping on? What clothes are you sleeping in? All of that affects your body, everything. So I would just say that people need to do, there's a doctor that I learned, as a doctor, like you said, Google is a university, right? But there's also a doctor that I follow, a sleep doctor. And even how people snore, how that affects your sleep. I used to have problems like 3 years ago, right? And I realized that it was my routines that were preventing me from having a healthy sleep. And for me, working out rigorously or stretching was one of the ways that put me to sleep. and put me in good sleep, because there are different sleeps too. So Dr. Arch, sleep is a whole different topic. And
I think I have a whole video on sleep. I did a whole video with one of the neurologists on sleep. And so we can't miss out on sleep. I think it's so important. And also to talk about the quantity and then the quality of sleep as well.
The quality is also important. Because some people can honestly function on a 4-hour sleep. Right. But did they sleep throughout, right? It's not the healthiest, but there are different stages of our lives. Let's say if you have a presentation, if you have a research to do, your sleep pattern might change a bit. You might rotate your sleep pattern where you're working at night when the kids are asleep, right? And you're sleeping in the daytime. And if you're sleeping in the daytime, I always tell people who work at night, you have to sleep in complete darkness. There's something about the darkness. If you do all the sleep science and you read about it, the darkness does affect the amounts of sleep or the science of sleep that you do have. The room you're sleeping in, the temperature, all right, the clothing, everything. What music is playing? Is it quiet? Is it silent? Is it clean? Is it cluttered? Does your bed have everything on it as you're sleeping on it? All of these are habits that we have to learn to form, and we have to make conscious effort to change, right? Because I know people who have their bed and they sleep on top of it. Right. That is not a good sleeping habit. And if your kids do that, it's a good time to model and show wrong. You wake up, you make your bed, you dust out the pillow. That way, when you're going back to sleep, it's enjoyable. Right. And there are also things to do to make your sleep place or I call it your sleep palace, right? Your sleep haven or palace very, very welcoming. It's almost like, it's time to go to sleep. The type of smells that are in there, the mood, the music,
even everything. the smell.
Exactly, the type of smells in there.
I always tease that, sometimes not all nightmares are a window to your unconsciousness. Sometimes the smell of your room is a window to all that as well, because I agree. The amount of food you eat too is part of the nightmares. On what type of food you're eating at what time. Right. And if you're not taking a shower before you sleep realistically, and you're waking up a lot, then it's your body not being relaxed that is not making you sleep. Exactly. Oh my God, Dr. Otubea, I think we have to move on to the next two ones so that we can wrap it up if you don't mind. So body care, right? Products. Now that most of our countries is being westernized, people are so into buying all type of products with perfumes and scented. I want people to be very careful what you put on your children. Or don't forget the soap is seeping through their heads, it's seeping through the pores, the type of body lotions. Let's be careful what products we use. Our natural products are good. Okay, our natural products are good. But you also have to do research on what is good and what is not good for your body. Deodorant. You can't use deodorant with aluminum, right? There's certain research that nobody should tell you about. You just have to start doing research on body care. All these makeup that we're putting on our faces. What are you putting on your face? What is it? Do you know the contents of it? Do you know what your body is going through? Like, there's so much that we take for granted. Okay, so I say that our products, body products, we should be very careful of them. Angie, it's interesting you mentioned this, because I have observed that some parents buy products that lightens their children's skin, and I observed this when I saw some kids who looked extremely different from their parents. And I just realized that it was the skin products kind of lightening their skin.
I don't know why anybody would like to lighten this beautiful Nubian natural skin. Whatever you have, that's what God gave you. Rock it with confidence. It's not about what is outside, it's about what is inside.
I think there are so many misperceptions about
too many of them.
The black skin color. We tend to appreciate a lighter skin. For some people, they tend to appreciate a lighter skin than the black.
Well, I have to say that it's a shame. I have to say that it's a shame that we have to do that. And if society is still doing that, that's pathetic, because You're what you are, right? You're born with a certain complexion. That's who you are. That's part of your identity. I mean, trying to change in any type of way, I'm not sure, but people have different reasons. And, you know, now even when it talks about doing body parts and body works, you know, before you do any type of body work, boobs enhancement, butt removing fat from one place to the other, they put you into a psychological evaluation here because we have to see exactly what is making you want to do it. People want to fit into the society is telling you who is beautiful, right? And people want to fit into that. Those things don't bother me. Honestly, if you have a good sense of who you are, if you have a good self-esteem, if you know who you are and you're great with yourself, all these outside external factors might play a little role, but they're not big. They're not a big deal, honestly.
That's
and you have to teach your children that. Right. You have to teach your children that, and whatever color you're given, it's what you are. It's totally nice. And why are people turning to be your complexion and yet you want to be light? You know, they want to make you, society wants to make this a fit thing. However, they're not even, they flip-flop in their decisions. So our standard of beauty is not their standard of beauty. I know. I'm a beautiful Black queen, you know, thank God I'm from Ghana. You know, I know my
parents must teach their children.
Yes. I tell every single Black girl that I meet in my building how beautiful they are, how gorgeous they are, how they're just who they are supposed to be. You know, it starts from childhood. It starts from what you're told. I had parents who told me that I was great. You know, thank God for that. And you know, I also went to a school that raised me knowing that gave me all the best tools that I needed. I mean, to survive in this life. So
the one and only Achimota School.
The great Achimota School. And before I touch on living space, I think that people need to, if you're more concerned about your outward look, right? Outward looks are important, but if there's an emotional part of you that is extremely heavy on that part, then I think that as a person, you need to reflect and start working on your inside.
That's true.
Because the outside will always change, right? Look at the Hollywood stars. They're still doing all these Botox and things, but it's not changing much. You still have to cover up with makeup. Like, you have to be good with yourself. You have to be good with yourself. That's the first thing. And the last thing that I want to talk about, Dr. Amoatey, before I leave, is living space. People are into cluttering. So there's a new thing called, I'm trying to remember the word, because minimality, right? Minimality. And the less things you have around you, the better, right? So you have to surround yourself with things that makes you, the individual person, feel good. I like plants. So if you walk into my house, there are different flowers, there are different plants. I like greens inside the house. I like good smelling places. So I like mint, candles. You know, it's what environment, your space is very important. But one of the biggest things is decluttering. You have too many clothes. Give someone, if you haven't worn it in 2 years, give it out. Since I lost weight and I'm where I want to be, right? Everything before this place has to go. Why is it in the closet? Right? Declutter. Give away things before you get things. You can't keep piling. There's something about a cluttered space that does not function, that does not help you function to your best ability. So I say environment. And
sometimes it's a function of your mental health.
It is. Honestly, for me, my space is very important.
Function of your mental health.
Yes. Dr. Amoatey, honestly, my space is not proper. My mental health is not okay. So my kids know, like, the house has to be in a certain order, right? Because it could be a little bit of borderline when you want things perfect, you know that. But it's people that some could be extreme. However, I believe that our space, like, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how small you've been. I've lived in basement apartments that were like maybe just the size of a room, and it was still beautiful. It was still the way I wanted it to be. It's where you live. Create your space. What you want.
Like that. Create your
space. It's your space. It's yours. Create it. What do you like in your space? Declutter and put what you like in your space. If you like to hear music all the time, make sure you have a little iPod with jazz music flowing all the time. That's your space. You know, if you I like stools. I like Afrocentric things. I like mats, you know, animal rocks and stuff like that. Create your space. Your living space is part of your mental health. Your living space is part of your physical health. It is. And if you teach your children about this type of space early, clean up, nice space, relaxed space, what you want to see is what you are. If you like waterfalls, you could get one into your house, not an expensive one, the flowing one. If you like an aquarium, right? You can even get the ones that just show you the pictures and the fish. Create your space. Create it. One of my kids like to write. Okay, so in his room, he's a writer. You know, that's his space. Even when I say I don't like to see all these books, that's his space, right? He's a writer. If somebody's an artist, your space. I can't tell you what your space is. Create your space. As a person, create your environment, make it feasible and comfortable for you, and live in it.
And live in it. Thank you.
Only touch on physical self-care, but Dr. Otubea, we can touch on every single one of them. I'm more than willing to do it with you. Because I see what type of the type of work you're doing. You know, education is the first thing out. Lack of knowledge, people perish, right? But the first time, when you start to know more, you start to make better decisions on good practices. So thank you for all that you're doing. I support you fully. And I'm grateful that you want to produce someone like you. This is just the beginning. On different things in Ghana, you know.
Thank you. Angie, thank you for your time. Thank you so much. We are so grateful, and we hope to see you in our next episode to have more discussion.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Right. Angie, thank you for sharing on self-care. We are so grateful. I think parents are educated, children are educated, adolescents are educated, and we want to say thank you for your time. Thank you so very much. So we've been talking to Angela. She's a school counselor in United States of America, and we hope to have her in our next session. So thank you for watching. And
thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Bye.
Bye-bye.